So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's T-Level Takeover. My name is Lucy Barnwell, and I am the Director of Marketing and Learner Recruitment for RNN Group, and I am really delighted to be hosting this webinar on T-Levels. You may not know, but you probably do, this is National T-Level Week, which is why we're hosting this T-Level webinar today and during this week. I have got some experts with me on T-Levels. I have Karen Knoll from North Notts College, who is a curriculum manager there and has taken to T-Levels over at North Notts College like a duck to water, and it's absolutely brilliant with engaging our students. So she will be supporting Mark Ryan and working and talking with Mark Ryan, who is our Vice Principal of Curriculum, who has an overview of our curriculum across the group. So welcome both of you, and thank you very, very much for taking the time today to talk to our amazing audience. I will be doing the presentation and moving it through, and Karen and Mark will be talking about this. Today, the presentation will cover these areas. What are T-Levels? For many, it's a very, very new offering. We're so entrenched in A-levels and GCSEs and to a degree BTECs, we still are not aware as a nation what T-Levels are. What subjects are offered at the RNN Group, structure and assessment, placements and progression, benefits for student, parents, employers, how to apply, and a Q&A. So any questions you have, this is the time to ask them. So I'm going to go straight in and ask Karen and Mark to tell me T-Levels, tell me a bit, the sort of an introduction to T-Levels and what they are. Mark, do you want to start at this point?
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to T-Level Week. So as an organisation, we started with T-Levels 2 years ago, so we're in year 3 of our T-Levels. We've expanded our T-Level provision across our 3 sites at Dearne Valley, Rotherham College and North Notts, across multiple different disciplines. T-Levels or technical level qualifications vary to and differ to A-levels. And as you can see on the slide there, the students undertake 45 days of industry placement over their 2-year programme. They're enrolled to a 2-year programme within their specific T-level and specific T-level occupational route. So, for example, in health, their T-level will be health, and their occupational route could be adult nursing. It could be supporting the mental health teams. So that would be the occupational route. They will spend 45 days or working days over the 2 years in an industry placement, so they get a valuable insight. Now, the industry placements could be really, really different depending upon what T-level that you take. Some could be a long and thin, some could be a short, compressed industry placement, depending upon, as I said, the type of industry that you go in, because of the value that it will provide you. 80% of your time is spent within the classrooms, the workshops, spaces, the practical spaces at the campus, developing a meaningful and insightful understanding of your route or your T-level. The way that we deliver it is it's not through it's not unitized. It's a golden thread, and everything sort of links in together. It's equivalent of doing your 3 A-levels or an extended diploma in a specific subject area. It does allow students to progress into university. It does allow students to progress into high-level technical qualifications, and it does allow students to progress into employment. Students will do an employer set project, and they will do route phased exams as well through the 2 years. It is predominantly built upon developing skills, and again, as it says there, there's lots of work placement and industry placement opportunity to develop their wider skills and a broader understanding out in the placement of their specific route. Thank you.
So employers are a really important part of the creation of T-Levels, and it's really important that we get that across to our audience, that these were built with employers and the workplace in mind. So Karen, do you want to just quickly go through the slide and talk to our audience about how they were created?
Yes, Joe. So welcome, and welcome to T-Level Week. The real focus point is with our students that the T-Level offers technical and practical skills for specific industries. So we work with local employers and the community, the wider community, to help us design what is fit for purpose. So these all learners are set up with the skills, and they're provided with the skills to actually leave us after the 2 years of a T level to be able to go out into employment with those power skills that are needed.
Thank you, Karen. It's worth noting that when these were originally built and developed by the government, wanting learners to be actually have some sort of work within their workplace, because that's really crucial, that practical element of it. A whole host of national companies were involved in the discussions to create T levels, as you can see from the slide here, and it's really great to know. I think we've had some learners who've completed their year 2 that some T levels are actually, when they've completed their course, actually progressed within the company and onto a business, or maybe into a role within the group, into that company as well. So in terms of the retention by an employer, that's a really positive outcome for a learner, isn't it, Karen?
It is, and that's been a real bonus for us this year. Some of our learners on the design and the surveying qualification, they did their year with a local company, and then they was offered a higher degree apprenticeship with them, which is amazing. So yeah, it is very important that these employers are on board with us, and then offering for these learners to progress into higher education.
Thank you. And so if you're an employer, in a few slides, you'll be able to find out how you can get involved. If you're currently an employer partner of ours and taking on T-level learners, a huge thank you to you. We value your input and partnership greatly.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And also, sorry, Lucy, also, but on back of that, I'm finding when students are coming in to do a T-level, the students have a clear idea of what industry that they want to focus on. And that clear focus point is that they are definitely determined and want to be in that, go down that route, that industry. So this is a real, this is what employers do like to see and to take on as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Karen. One other thing I find when I go out talking to schools, Mark, if I could ask you to just deliver on this slide, is that still there is a little bit of a lack of knowledge on the difference between T levels and A levels and apprenticeships, and what that means. Would you just mind, potentially in your own words, using this slide, just talk us through the differences between these three level 3 opportunities for learners?
Yeah, sure, Lucy. A-levels are academic-based qualifications where they will pick between 1, 2 or 3 A-levels, and they'll study that qualification over 2 years. They are exam-focused in regards to year 2, so that the students will study that subject for that 2 year and complete an exam upon completion of year 2. An apprenticeship is a job. So an individual has to acquire a job under the apprenticeship banner, if you like, and so to speak, within a sector area, whichever that may be. The student will, again, depending upon the employer, depending upon on the provider, the educational provider, that could be done on a day release. It could be done on block. So that the individual will be working 4 days a week, let's say, and they'll do a day release back into the provider to do some underpinning work around some theoretical aspects of things. They will undertake observations in the workplace. They will have an assessor in the workplace that will carry out observations, that will carry out specific tasks that align to the apprenticeship standard. Within the classroom, they'll undertake specific activities such as the theoretical elements, specific assessments that align to them completing their apprenticeship standard. So you'll have your employer work, you'll have your standard, and those two things will work together. So that's a little bit of a difference in regards to how an apprenticeship differs to an A-level. You then have your traditional vocational learning programs at level 1, level 2. And at level 3, where students will come in, they'll undertake a specific vocational route that could be in hairdressing, catering, etc. There will be a smaller amount of hours, around 30 hours a year, allocated to work placement and work experience or experience of work. So again, that's a lot less in terms of or compared to to a T level. The T level is very sort of route specific and occupational specific. A vocational is a little bit wider in terms of scope. The vocational route is unitized, whereas a T level, let's say, is not unitized, as that sort of seamless through flow of the curriculum, and varying types of assessments. So there are sort of real differences across your vocational, your apprenticeship, A level and T level route.
Mark, thank you very much. So Karen, T levels, how do you find with your experience, who are they most suited to generally? I get learners asking me this all the time, and I do give my thoughts on it, but it would be great to hear from you as an expert. What do you think, and who they're most suited to?
I think, like I said earlier, Lucy, I think they are most suited to the type of students that do have that clear vision, that clear idea of what industry they want to go down. They prefer that blended learning of academic and also the practical element of the learning within a T level, which I have seen learners develop so quickly through the first year of their T level by offering that blended assessment approach to practical and also the academic ability. So yeah, and it's suited for pretty much anybody. A T level is suited for anybody. We do grade some of the qualifications that we deliver, we do look at that grade 4 and above, especially in English and maths. But these can be actually suited to anybody.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I am aware that about 75% of 16-year-olds just don't know what they want to do.
They don't, no.
I think it's really difficult to decide what you want to do from an early age. And we recognise now that most learners of Generation Z coming through probably will do actually 6 or 7 different jobs in their life, actually. So I think what we try and encourage people to come to our open days and come to our taster days and have a trial of the different options available and try these out, because it is important that people do find the right one for them in terms of their life learning experiences. Would you sort of agree that it's important to have that options?
Oh, definitely. And then what also I'm finding is that learners are really liking that they're walking away with the 3A levels instead of having to and only studying that one subject area, rather than studying 3 subject areas to have to be able to gain those 3A levels. So this has opened it a lot wider, and given those learners coming through the door, a wider chance of various of different options for them. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a hugely innovative approach by the government to have this additional experience in the workplace, also to focus on the one area. I think that we're sort of shifting our education slowly into sort of a more contemporary way of learning, which I think the T levels really do aid with. So,
definitely. I think even down to the assessment processes, where it's a combination of exams, coursework, and practical assessments. For students sometimes that they come in and they're not clear on where they want to be or what pathway they want to go down. However, they've always wanted to get that higher level qualification and not thought that, thought to themselves, well, I don't think actually this is suited for me, but actually it is suitable for you. You can reach that goal. So by giving a mixture of assessment processes, coursework, practical, and also exam work, it's a mixture of ability there for that student to actually reach their end goal. It supports their learning.
Which T level's been around in my time. It's fantastic.
Me too, Lucy.
So obviously you can do T levels, everyone listening, across our group of colleges, Rotherham College, North Notts College and Dearne Valley College. Over on the next slide, Mark, do you want to start with what T levels are offered at Rotherham College and then followed by Dearne? I'll go back to Karen for North Notts. So Mark, Rotherham College, what are we offering?
Yeah, sure. So here at Rotherham, we've got the early years and childcare route, which we're now in year 3 of delivery. We also run the digital design here at Rotherham. We run the construction on-site provision last year, but the DFE now have ruled it out, so we've moved back to the vocational route in those spaces. We've offered again engineering, manufacturing, process and control, installation, repair. So we've offered 2 routes with engineering and manufacturing. Hair and beauty is not on the DFE agenda anymore, so that has been removed along with catering and hospitality. So that's the offer at Rotherham. As we move forward at Dearne Valley, we've got the agriculture animal care, which is the animal care science and the animal management route. So we're going to be offering 2 routes as we move forward next year. We currently offer the health and adult nursing offering an occupational route at Dearne Valley, out of the health and science route. And within both Dearne Valley, we'll be looking to offer the supporting mental health as we move forward as well, and potentially further developments around digital creativity, creation, media broadcasting production at Rotherham in the not too distant future.
Is this a watch this space then, Mark, in terms of new offerings?
It is. There's lots of work that's happening. As I've just alluded to earlier, in terms of on-site construction, we've had to revert to the new reformed offering away from the on-site. So that's changed here at Rotherham campus. But as we move forward in point 3, the digital space, we'll be doing more around creativity, production, broadcasting as well.
Fantastic, thank you. Karen, at North Notts, what's available at North Notts College?
What's available at North Notts? We've got early years and childcare pathway. Within our construction department, we offer the design, surveying and planning. We also offer health and science, engineering and manufacturing with the 2 pathways, as Mark explained there. We also offer the engineering, manufacturing and processing, and that's about it, I think, at North Notts College. But we also do offer the T-level foundation programme, which is a really good starting point to get onto any of these your 2-year T-level programmes.
So it makes it a 3-year programme in a way, so you have like a sort of little foundation, the sort of support year before going into the full 2-year, is that correct?
It is correct, yeah.
It does, and one of the big focuses around that is for those individuals that have got a real passion and an enthusiasm to go and study a T-level, because that's the occupation that they see themselves, Lucy, and they might not have got acquired the entry requirements for starting on that program. It allows those individuals to stay in that space, to undertake a provision that mirrors the T-level, if you like, so that they prepare the skills, they can be prepared for their learning type. And what I mean by that is how it's delivered, how it's assessed, exposure to T-level employers, to do a little bit of shadow work of the T-level learners, whilst also developing their English and or their maths, for example, to help to move them on and trumpet them into the level 3 T-level the following year. And again, because of the T-level foundation, you follow national technical outcomes. It allows the T-level foundation to be much more flexible, much more accessible, much more robust in regards to how it's delivered, to ensure that the delivery is preparing that individual or them individuals for that occupational route when they hit the T-level.
I think that's brilliant. I mean, I've come from an industry where they used to do 3-year A levels, so do a foundation year and then 2 years on from that, and it really supported learners who needed that extra little bit of time to get to grips with different skills required at that level 3. So I think this is highly innovative of the government to bring this in. So yeah, thank you for that. So the T-level programme, so this is some additional aspects for learners to know about. Do you want to talk about English and maths requirements, Mark? And then is there anything else, Karen, you wanted to add after that regarding the 2-year programme? So English and maths requirements, Mark, very crucial, I know.
Yeah, English and maths are crucial. But depending upon what occupational route you go down, you might be required to achieve a higher level. So a higher grade than a 4, so it's very much bespoke to the specific route, as is the science as well, because in some of the spaces science is a crucial part, and what we want to do is to ensure that our students are not set up to fail, but they're prepared to learn and develop. So English and maths, and in some spaces science, are absolutely crucial in achieving your 4 or your 5, depending upon what route that you potentially look to go down. Through the 5 years where T levels have been developed, it is really sort of crucial that entry requirements are scrutinized, because we need to ensure that the amount of work that a student has to undertake and the way that it's delivered, if students have the core English and maths skills at a specific level to be able to be successful, to progress. And as I said, it's very bespoke to each technical level qualification, T level qualification that we do offer.
Thank you. So you heard it here, English and maths is very crucial, but it's a bespoke requirement. Some courses may need higher grades than a level 4.
Mm-hmm.
So following on from that, Karen, do you want to talk about the assessment and outcomes for people taking T levels? I think there's a lot of stigma that T levels aren't equal to A levels, and therefore you can't go to university. Do you want to debunk that myth here for us, please?
They are very much equal, Lucy. Yes, and you can go to university and gain those high degree apprenticeships, which we've already seen happen this year, which has been amazing. So yeah, the core assessments, like I said earlier, that they are built up of a combination of exams, coursework, practical projects. And so it's really it's not just sat there doing handwriting, it's engaging our learners throughout the whole journey and developing their power skills, wider skills other than just their qualification skills. It's what every employer is looking for, and that is one of our main focuses. Yes, it's all graded pass merit distinction or a distinction plus throughout. And what the tutors are very good at is looking at each piece of element of coursework throughout the year and sort of giving them the mock grades so they can develop where they need to develop in areas to be able to raise that grade, their profile a bit higher if they can or if needed. And all the T-level qualifications all count and all will gain their UCAS points ready to be moved on, and that will go through their graded position as well and how many UCAS points they can get. Very much recognised by universities and very much recognised by employers, and I can see it getting more and more recognisable by employers as each year goes by, and more actual engagement from the employer wanting to be part of our curriculum design, what they want, make sure it's all fit for purpose. So it's the assessment and outcomes with the employers is it's massive. It's getting better.
I think one thing just to add as well, as part of the assessment and the outcome, what's really important to remember is that the placement is not an option. The placement is part of the programme. So the placement and their hours and their reflection and the feedback from the employers also makes up part of the achievement of this qualification too. So that's just one thing as well that's fundamental to about the achievement of the qualification.
That's really helpful. I think a lot of people think that could be just an additional extra, but it's actually mandatory.
No, it is actually part of the qualification, yeah.
Fantastic. Just so you know, everyone who's listening to this slide, we do have a webinar on Thursday at 1 o'clock talking about UCAS and support for all. So if you are interested in knowing more about UCAS, which we will be giving information about T-level points within, do come along to or join or book onto our webinar on Thursday, the 16th of October at 1 o'clock, because it's our higher skills week here at the group too. So thank you for that, both of you. Next slide then is all about entry requirements. Karen, do you want to talk about some entry requirements, please, if that's all right?
Yes, entry requirements 16 to 19 after the GCSEs, anybody can come in at that. However, nationally, we have been part of the AOC, which we're part of the AOC webinars, collaborating with many colleges across the country, because this has been new to all of us over the last couple of years, and we're still learning, still developing areas, etc. And we need to be working together as one team across the college, across the country. So we're looking at grading styles. For an example, engineering, it's quite heavy on maths and English and science. and we've had to grade that at a 4 or 5 and upwards because of the in-depth of the science elements. And there is other areas where grade 4 is actually suitable with maths and English to be able to get onto that surveying qualification. And I think that's probably generally the makeup of most T levels that we do offer. If I'm right in saying that, Mark, with most of the qualifications. So we have changed the grading boundaries from the very first year that we sort of started to deliver the T levels, because we were learning on what fits best and where, and right learner, right course, make sure it's all fit for purpose. And I think through collaborating with many other colleges across the country, this is really, and the AOC, which has put on lots of webinars, etc., it's really made us quite a powerful place to be, and learning on what's best for all students. But generally, we do require that grade 4 and up to be able to get onto any sort of T level, and that's where the foundation T level fits in. Because if you haven't quite got the grades, that's a really good starting point for any individual to start on, to be able to then concentrate and work on their maths and English, to be able to then get onto the pathway that they really want to get onto.
That's really helpful. Thank you. Just so if everyone knows, AOC means Association of Colleges. It's a national organisation the Iron Group is part of, and it's a hugely powerful body for further education, supporting the education of our young people and the future of the country in terms of the economy and where skills need to be diverted to. So, thank you for that. Really, really, really useful. Next on is skills students will develop. Mark, over to you for this one, if that's all right.
Yeah, no problem. As we said right at the start around the technical level qualification and the occupational route will depend upon what specialist knowledge and technical specialist knowledge they will acquire. If they go into digital route and the design, it'll be around digital and design. If it's around construction and design and surveying and planning, it'll be skills and technical specialist skills around that space. But what's really, really important, whatever technical route an occupational route a student takes, they will be working with technical specialists, not just within the college, but will also within their placement. So the student is acquiring lots of really strong, up-to-date, positive information, knowledge around what is required now, but also perhaps what is going to be required further down the line in terms of those occupational spaces. So they'll acquire lots of key specifics. If you go back to the few slides ago, and we're talking about like an applied general qualification, a vocational qualification, a student might do lots of different units that might, aspire to multiple different roles and occupations down the line, but the T level is really, really bespoke to that specific occupational and that occupational route. They'll develop the practical skills that's acquired within those spaces, because again, they are technical, practical qualifications such as broadcasting, such as cybersecurity, such as surveying, such as adult nursing, such as animal science and care. So they will develop the practical skills in those spaces, along with the work with the employers around what it is that they will do within that sector, and if they were to be employed by that employer. Some employers ask them to look at ghost projects, specific projects that they'll work alongside or with specific employees of the employer to again develop those practical skills. There's lots of conversation about soft skills, transferable skills, but we at the INN Group we call them power skills, and about the standard skills that employers want from for their workforce of the future, and things such as communication, teamwork, problem solving, analytical thinking, being assertive, time management, absolutely crucial skills. And what the T level will do, because the multifaceted types of assessment, because they're having to work with employers, because they're having to not work to units, but again the sort of flow of the curriculum, they will develop those skills ready to move into employment. And what's really interesting is that the number of students that have gained employment, or as Karen mentioned earlier, the higher apprenticeship opportunity, which is a job, just learning studying at a high level. because they've been able to display, one, their knowledge, specialist knowledge, two, their power skills that we call them, with the employer. So it's been a little bit like a pre-assessment of an interview that they've gone through for around 18 months to 12 months. And rather than having to go through that interview and sit there formally, they've kind of just cherry-picked them to move into that space. So that, again, they've developed them skills whilst on that, which is therefore, finally, in the fourth bullet, is provided them with a career readiness and confidence to move into that space. You know, Karen mentioned some examples earlier regarding going into design and survey and planning with some big national companies. We've had health students that have gone into progressing to university, into paramedics, into biomed science, lots of different things and opportunities where they've been really, really successful, because they've developed the confidence, the skills, the knowledge to move into them spaces. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. That's brilliant. As I know, power skills are a key thing for me, so it's great to know that T-levels really do support learners with this. Industry placements. Karen, you mentioned this a little bit back earlier in the presentation. Do you want to quickly go through this area for me, please?
Yes, Lucy. Industry placements, as Mark sort of backed on one of the slides earlier, that it is, and it makes up the T-level qualification. So it is mandatory that learners do have to cover these hours. 315 hours, approximately 45 days. And this is with an employer of their choice, or we can actually support with gaining that employment for them within their chosen pathway within their industry. I've seen it's not just all about, right, we've just got your employer, there you go, you've got to go and do your hours. I'm just in the process again of, with one of our local employers, setting up mock interviews, them coming in to do presentations, talking about the company. And then from that, it's going to be small group discussions regarding what is happening within that company and how they can fit into there. So the employer is getting to know our learners on an individual basis as much as the learner is getting to know the employer and what they can offer them moving forward within their career and their chosen industry. And then from that, after sort of a 2-month process, then the mock interviews will start. And then the students will go through real life experience through interviewing, because some of these students have never been through an interview, but we do support and will prepare them for that. So it's all real life tasks that have been embedded within the curriculum to be able to hopefully gain that experience. And then after sort of the 3-month sort of period of tying this into curriculum, then some learners then will be able to, they'll have that choice, you know, whether they want to take that placement on or not. And to be honest, touch wood, over the last couple of years, they've all took that placement on when they've actually been part of this process. And then again, leading on to that progression with a high degree apprenticeship. So it is also, it's not just about them if they're not successful at interview, they've still built those professional contacts. And that then can lead on to something else for those individuals, which has been great. And I've seen that happen and I've seen them develop the skills throughout that. Great experience for them.
Just to jump on the back of that one as well, Karen, I think because of the work that we do, in addition to the T-levels and employers that we engage with, but we do engage with, you know, multiple employers alongside T-levels. That what you said there, I think is really crucial. Is that at 16, 17, 18, 19, our students can start to create a network within their sector, their potential career at such an early age, so that they've got the networks, they've got the contacts that they can link in with, they can refer to for opportunities, for reference when they're going for jobs, and they're going for university opportunities and placements. So it does provide them with that sort of wider network, which is a super power skill for a young person to acquire, because we do know that networks are really, really important in careers and in business. So yeah, I think that's a really poignant point.
Thank you. Really helpful. So the progression routes, Mark and Karen have talked about traditional higher education routes. We have our own University Centre Rotherham. We have higher education options at North Knox College too. We also do a lot with the Bridge Skills Hub. Karen has mentioned we do degree and high level apprenticeships, and you can obviously go directly into employment. As Karen has mentioned, she's seen a lot of people retained and move into employment with the company that they did a placement with. Moving on to benefits now. This is a really important one. Benefits for students and then for parents. Karen, do you want to talk about the benefits for students and parents briefly with using this slide?
Yes, Lucy, yeah. So benefits for parents and for the students, like I mentioned earlier, it's career-focused education, and they actually know exactly what they want to do before they've actually stepped into the college environment. And they're straight on there, and they're literally leading into gaining all those contacts, networking, and hopefully with that gaining into employment at the end with throughout the work experience built in. It does offer a real clear route, because I've had so many conversations with parents on parents' evening nights. Oh, my son or my daughter doesn't know what they want to do, and I'm having headaches at night, having all these discussions, etc. And I've been there myself with my own children with this, and I wish these were around when my children was coming into education, because they did have a clear focus on what they wanted to do. But this does literally offer everything. So it gets rid of those headaches for parents and students coming in, having that transition from school into college environment. And also, we mentioned it is a recognised qualification, and more it's getting out there. And one subject area of their chosen pathway to gain those 3 A levels, which is great. It's just one focus point that these learners they just need to focus on, and that's where we're seeing the benefits, because they're actually they're knuckling down, they're getting on with the work, they're actually thriving through actually just doing one subject area. There's no pressure.
Amazing.
There is still pressure, but there's not as much pressure as doing 3 different subject areas. Yeah. And this is where I can see now, and I'm talking to parents and the students, and they're thriving and they're loving it. They're loving that because it's something they actually want to do and they want to be in.
You can see that from the TikTok videos we put out with a day in the life.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So you can
definitely.
Anyone who's following TikTok at North Knox College, go and look at TikTok on the North Knox College Learners Day in the Life of. Very, very informative. So benefits for employers then, Mark. So this is a really crucial part. We will have some employers listening to this. What is in it for them?
This is really important, and it's a really a great opportunity to influence their workforce of the future, where they can do a try before you buy. They can help shape the workforce of the future by acquiring young talent, supporting young talent in the occupational routes that they specialise in. They can acquire and develop those individuals to keep them motivated, to raise their aspirations, to create an awareness of not just what it is that they're currently studying, but actually future. To build partnerships as well. We spoke about the networking for the employer. We know that the majority of employers within our regions have 9 or less employees, so it's an opportunity for them to work together, to collaborate, because we'll have that employer network and the advisory boards that we work on regularly, frequently. You have support from the teams across the organisation, where we have work placement teams, we have pastoral teams, we have curriculum teams. Employers can be upskilled, they can be retrained, they can be reskilled. They can support our staff to be upskilled and reskilled through that sort of relationship and partnership that we have, to ensure that we continue to develop a workforce not just for tomorrow but for the future. I mentioned earlier around the skills, not just for today but the skills for tomorrow, and that's why it's really important for employers to be able to shape, to influence the young people that walk into the RN group or any other provider, to ensure that the occupational areas that they're working within, where the T levels exist, they can develop that future workforce. by actively engaging, influencing and leveraging wherever they possibly can. And as I mentioned, it's a real strong opportunity to create a succession planning for the employers.
Thank you, Mark. That's really helpful. Great benefits for employers. I am mindful of the time of our webinar, so I'm just going to shoot through these few slides to ensure we get through the presentation. This has been one of, I think, our most brilliant presentations in terms of depth and conversation, so I really appreciate it, both of you. But we don't talk about local impact much, and we work with sort of regional organisations to look at local industry needs. We look at labour market intelligence and data to ensure that our courses are really supporting the future of the economy of our regions. And we have, as Mark and Karen have both mentioned, very, very strong partnerships with employers, and we work to help meet those regional skills. And this is what our courses do. That is what we're working with employers all the time. And the important thing also is keeping young talent in the community. So by having T-levels, we are engaging with local employers that will take on our learners to engage them with their company going forward, and that keeps young talent in the community, which is a core part of growing our economy for the future. I don't know if Karen or Mark, you wanted to add anything else to that slide before I go on to the next one.
Yeah, I think what we do within the organisation really well is we work with employers, as you said, Lucy, but we also look at what is happening regionally and locally to influence what it is that we deliver to meet the needs of the young people. So if there's no offering out there of occupations that we spoke about, we will not deliver something or offer something that's not going to add value to the young person or to the student. So we do a lot of work in regards to our curriculum planning, our curriculum design, which utilises employers to ensure that they, again, influence and leverage what it is that we do and how we do it to, again, meet local impact and need.
Fabulous. So employers can get involved. Mark and Karen always mention this. You contact us. I can show you the websites in a moment where you can do that. Employers collaborate on curriculum design. We have employer forums, employer academies, lots of partnerships, business breakfasts, awards, involvement. So our employers, and especially in the last 3.5, 4 years, have really got involved in a lot of the things that we are engaging with and have supported with our curriculum quite substantially, and we are grateful for their support. And they do a huge amount for us, as you can see here. And we have 2 lots of careers and skills weeks throughout the year, and we have a lot of employers that come in and talk to our learners, give sessions. We have actually employers coming in this week for our higher education and skills week too. So getting involved, actually talking to learners and hearing it from them, that is a crucial part of what our employers get involved with. How to apply? Very, very easy. If you go onto our websites, you'll go onto courses and you'll go into any of these areas. Once you go into the areas, you'll be able to see a list of courses and you'll see whether it says T-levels or level 3. That's how you know whether we do a course, a T-level course, or if you want to choose a level 3 course. Please note, we always try and encourage people to apply for more than one if they don't know. So it could be I spoke to one learner the other week when I was at St Bernard's over in Rotherham, and they didn't know whether to do education or health, and so I said apply for both. It's really, really important. So go on the courses and choose it, and each of the colleges and the group websites has a T-level slot here where you can find out more. So that is the end of the presentation. With 1 minute to spare, a huge thank you to Karen and Mark for all of their support and expertise. You're both brilliant. I always learn something different when I listen to you both speak, so thank you ever so much. For those who want to know what our next webinars are, we have one tonight at 6:30 on higher education for all your needs in higher education, next steps and opportunities. We have another one tomorrow at 1 o'clock, carrying on our higher education week, financial support and how to apply for financial support at higher education. And finally, I mentioned earlier, UCAS support for all, Thursday the 16th at 1 o'clock. Those are our 3 remaining webinars for this week. Just remains for me to say thank you ever so much for your time, for listening, and have a great day. Thank you again then. Bye-bye.